Coolio, how you all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Another one of these discussions. Just because there's a lot that happened today, a lot that's been happening over the past week. So, yay. Bayern Fan TV. Hi, how are you all doing? I do hope you all are fantastic. Here today, joined by Nagels 1, 2, 3. If you want to introduce yourself, if you want to shout out your stuff, if that's what you want to do, go for it.
I'm fine. My name is Nagels123. I was here the last two discussions as well. And I'm here to talk about all the things happened today, yesterday, midnight, and what will be. Let's say what we're all up to as Bayern fans, because I think this season is like there were rarely any other season where I was so like, let's say, I couldn't even predict anything. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy.
Absolutely. This has to be one of the most exciting seasons in terms of transfers. In terms of just the transfer news, because usually there are a lot of transfer news every season, and I've been doing YouTube for a while now. So I used to not care too much about like the transfer summer, like the summer, that much. And then in like 2014, I think it was when I started writing about football. Before then, in 2015, moving on to making videos about football. In 2014, I started, because I was writing about Bayern, and I started having to follow the transfer news a lot more closely, a lot more seriously. And I noticed that we haven't had a crazy window like this since then, like where there's just big reports after big reports after big reports all the time. I do want to say like the closest one really was like the one I can think of was like 2013. And that's because the names that we were linked with were Neymar, Mario Götze, and then ultimately, obviously, also Thiago. So we had a lot of names linked, and Lewandowski being linked as well. So there was a lot of buzz around the club with Pep Guardiola just coming in after the treble. There was a lot of buzz coming around. There was a lot of hype, and there hasn't been. I don't think that's been the case for a long time. I want to say that summer where we signed Vidal was like one of the more memorable ones, just because I remember the Vidal story breaking, and then me going to play football. And by the time I came back from playing football, Rummenigge confirmed it that like Vidal was joining. And I was like, what's going on? So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. But yeah, there are a few things that we're going to talk about today. TTV Coco, welcome to you. So there are a few things that we're going to talk about. One of them being Lewandowski officially leaving now. The other one being Serge Gnabry extending. Our crazy bit for Mathys Tel. And a few other things that we'll add on here and there, so on and so forth. We talked about a little bit about this. We talked a little bit about a few things before we started that we can definitely talk about in more depth once we're actually starting. But with that said, Lewandowski leaving. Thoughts?
Let me phrase it that way. I don't have to lie. Lewandowski was my favorite player at Bayern, like for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. I'm just like this guy who likes players who score a lot of goals, right? I love that everyone was envious about us having this kind of striker, and I loved it how everyone was saying, "Oh, Lewandowski wasting his career at Bayern. He's one of the greatest strikers. He's wasting his career. Should be at the Premier League." I loved it that he was still playing at Bayern. And after I think Di Marzio, Plettenberg, everyone was confirming it yesterday night. I was quite sad for like, let's say 10 minutes, right? I was really sad. And then I realized this guy, the way he behaved, you can't be sad about it. This is like something he wanted. He wanted to end it like this way. He could have just been quiet. I think if he would have been quiet, the deal would have still come through, because I feel like we all also had an interest of letting him go, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I don't think if we are really like wanting to keep him, we would have kept him. Like, I don't think we had to sell him. I think we all also wanted, like, you could see it in the interviews of Brazzo and Nagelsmann today. They were like, it would be interesting to see how we will manage to still score more than 40 goals with Lewandowski gone. I think it's the team is also quite excited about the challenge. That's why I think it's not that kind of huge loss. Although he is a huge loss, don't get me wrong, but it's just what I think. I think it's the best for all involved parties. I think Barcelona is still getting a great strike. I don't. I'm not here to tell you that Lewandowski is a bad striker or some shit. I still think he's like one of the best. But I think, as I said, I was sad for 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I guess that's what you wanted, right? You see, Prince. There was like one news regarding Herbert Heiner confirming that Lewandowski will leave the club, and then they posted another like small statement, but not like you think there will be like a video farewell message and like some stuff that the other legends of the club got. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't think that ever would have been a video for him. You look at when Schweinsteiger left, there was like a whole video, a whole movie, everything. But that's because he was a fan darling. Lewandowski, I think it's very telling that I can't remember who it was. It could be Khan, or it could be Uli Hoeneß that like a few days ago said, does Lewandowski still have the support of the fans? And you think like he's lost the fans' support. And then they said something along the lines of no comment. I think it was Uli Hoeneß that said that actually, where like he refused to comment on Lewandowski potentially.
I remember,
pissing off the fans. And I think Bayern realized that, you know what, it's actually okay for us to let him leave. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. TTV Coco as well, regarding the light, we'll talk about the Ligt. So, regarding the Ligt, we'll talk about him a little later. We're just starting with the big news that the breaking news that happened today. So let me just add Daniel to here. How are you doing, Daniel? Welcome.
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good as well, besides the heat.
How bad is it?
Oh, extremely.
Extremely. Oh yeah, you're in the UK. I heard there's a massive heat wave.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
The worst heat wave since I've been here, honestly. Since I came here when I was 11. Yeah, it's that bad.
I have a question. How come you guys call it an aircon and not an AC?
Well, we don't have ACs in Europe. We only got fans.
When you guys call it an aircon, it's so weird because I feel like AC is just easier to say. But
yeah, but that's because we don't use aircons.
Yeah,
that's why.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, Daniel, what are your thoughts on Lewandowski leaving? It was confirmed. Well, all the reports came out yesterday, and it was confirmed today that officially he is leaving Bayern.
Yeah, so my initial thought was good riddance because like of all the drama he had, and then I also had a small big vendetta against him because of like he was a group stage and Bundesliga merchant, never showed up in the big games. But now that I saw the pictures of him and Muller, it kind of stings a bit, not gonna lie, because that partnership was fun to watch, regardless of what I think of Lewandowski. But part of me will miss him, but at the same time, we need to move on, and then Ronaldo's gonna shine at Bayern Munich.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I mean, we'll talk about Ronaldo later, but all of you said so far that you're like it stung a little. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, obviously, I was the person that said I don't want us to sell him, and I still think we look like fools for making your statements about Basta, so on and so forth. He's not leaving. It's the end. That's our decision. That's not going to change. And then, ultimately, we let him leave. I think it says about president. And I've seen some Dortmund fans actually mention the Uli Hoeneß interview where he said, well, we never let a player like Dembele bully us, and then we let Lewandowski bully us. So to me, I'm like, I don't like it. But then again, I also like the money because it allows us new avenues. So I don't really care that he left. Again, my opinion, I don't hate Lewandowski. I never did. I just never liked Lewandowski either. I was just always neutral on him. So him leaving, it's not that. It doesn't do anything for me, positively or negatively. And I didn't even see the news yesterday, if I'm being honest. I saw the news today in the morning because I went to bed at like 7 p.m. And when I woke up, I was like, why is Lewandowski suddenly leaving? And then like a few hours after, it's like, okay, no, the club actually confirmed that he's leaving. So it happened very quickly for me. I'm happy he's gone. I'm also sad that we let him bully us. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think
we bully him in the Champions League.
Well, we'll see about that. But yeah, overall, Lewandowski, I am neutral on, and I'm also neutral to see leave. Mido, how are you doing? I hope you're fantastic. What are your thoughts on Lewandowski now officially leaving Bayern? I don't think your microphone is working as of yet. So we'll come back to that question later.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Or
yeah, we can hear you now.
yeah. Hi guys, how you doing?
I'm doing great besides the heat wave. And you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. So I was just listening. Yeah, Lewandowski. I mean, it is what it is at the moment because the situation is because of the we can only accept how it is because how it started. But at the moment, we just need to move forward because we can't really force someone who really wants to leave. So at the end of the day, I feel like with Mane and Ligt and maybe Tel, we're in a good position, I think.
Okay. We'll talk about Tel a little bit later, because obviously there's a lot of news that happened today in regards to the Tel. I'm gonna say transfer. Obviously, there's just the rumors for now. We'll see how that all pans out. And as I said, we'll also talk a little bit about Ligt later on. So another person that spells Ligt wrong and spells it delight. That's what I don't want him at Bayern. As I said, I don't want him at Bayern just because I know I'm gonna get it wrong and say delight and not Delict. But us selling Lewandowski does open up new avenues. And one avenue, actually, that got confirmed, strangely enough, today/yesterday, when the news about Lewandowski broke today/yesterday. Coincidence? I don't know. But Gnabry has extended until 2026. What a coincidence, eh? What a coincidence. How are we feeling?
I just wanted to put something about Lewandowski, just a question to you, all of you guys.
Yep.
So I think with Lewandowski leaving, we're not just like losing the goals, which would be like, okay, we still win the Bundesliga with someone who scored 20 goals. I still believe that. But we're still losing someone who's like, Prince, how we talked about the social media presence of Bayern and everything, like on our first talk. And I've watched Lewandowski's like Instagram numbers and stuff. I think he's like the biggest, our strongest PR player we got, and we lost him, right? I mean, we got Mane. Fuck, I always switch them up.
There you go.
But,
Mane Sane, just wait until
yeah,
Kane
we
is
got
here.
we got Mane, but we still lost like the one who I think got like 5 million less followers than our club Instagram account, which is crazy. But you guys think that is like it's bad for our team and the league that we are losing a player who's like internationally known, where other people just turn on the TV for him because they know he's like one of the greatest strikers to play the game right now. You know what I mean? Is it like a huge loss in also in that aspect, or you think we shouldn't care about that because it's only about the club success?
I'll let someone else go first because I need to think about this one.
Yeah, I think obviously is with Lewandowski, someone like Lewandowski it is a loss, but at the end of the day, the way personally Bayern, we always with the Bundesliga is fine. We could be playing any striker with the team we have, but the most important thing for me is the Champions League. Lewandowski in the knockout stages. I know it's a big player. It's got a lot of goals. But like when we had like Gomez or Olic, we still made it to the Champions League final. As long as we have a team all around, I'm happy with that because with him, like, because for example, we in 2012, 2010, we didn't have they're not like level of Lewandowski, but we as a team we were good. So I feel like this season we could be like that. So Lewandowski is not like he wasn't like, as you say, like Benzema, for example, made the difference for Real Madrid in knockout stages. So it's a loss, but I still feel like it's not like the way people make out. Personally, I feel like we're fine.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like the sporting law. I'm really talking about the loss of an, like, let's say, marketing perspective, right?
Yeah.
About losing our probably the most known player we got.
I'm actually going to counter that. I think Mane at Bayern is a bigger deal than Lewandowski, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
I'll tell you why, right? And I only saw this video about 10 minutes before we started the live stream because I was just going on YouTube as I always do, and I saw Sadio Mane, just making sure I get it right, Sadio Mane's first day at Bayern, a video that came out, when did that come out?
I've seen the
6 days ago. 3.4 million views on Bayern's YouTube channel.
That's crazy.
Do you know which other video got 3.4 million views on Bayern's YouTube channel?
Which one?
The insight into our Champions League win. So that's how much just his first day at Bayern in terms of views brings in. As far as I can see, the only videos that have that kind of amount of views, the only one that Lewandowski is in is Lewandowski versus Muller, copy the penalty challenge. That's our most viewed video on the Bayern channel. So just keep in mind that video from Sadio Mane's first day at Bayern broke like 3.4 million views and it's probably in like a top 15 most viewed videos in 5 days, 6 days. So I mean that's just YouTube, of course. That's just YouTube. But in general, you look at our numbers. Fresh blood does that to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say like with Mane, with the whole Africa here, he's got a lot of fans from Africa. So with Lewandowski, I know he's still a big name from Poland and these countries, but I feel like Mane is like bigger in terms of like the whole. Today, I don't know if you guys saw a lot of Senegalese fans attended the presentation as well.
Yeah,
so
I
that
did.
was really good.
Absolutely.
So Daniel, what do you think?
I don't think
do you even care?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got that big of a pull, to be honest, because it's like he's not like a Neymar or like an Mbappe. So I don't think he's got that big of a pull, even with the Instagram numbers. I don't think people go out of their way to watch Bayern to watch Lewandowski. I just don't think that's a thing. It might be. I could be wrong because like he doesn't even have that much of a shirt sale compared to like Musiala and Davies, who do better in the US. So like US fans don't even like watch Bayern for Lewandowski. I don't think fans across the globe watch Bayern for Lewandowski, so I don't really care too much. And I think at the end of the day, like Mane is gonna have a bigger pull than Lewandowski did, like everyone else said.
Okay, fair enough. Also, I just want to say, the Mane short of like him just like doing a few tricks on like with like the Bayern shirt on that came out 3 weeks ago also has 3 million views. So again, right up there. Lewandowski at the Ballon d'Or has 2.9. That's the video with Lewandowski that has the most views. That just focused on him. So that's what I'm gonna say. Not that I care too much about the social media presence, but it is important, of course, for the club. What's also important is that we extend our key players. And well, we've got this one that says Gnabry is class. And this one that says, I'm very happy that Gnabry is staying. So yeah, the big news came out today about Gnabry. He is staying. What is everyone's thoughts? I'm excited. Gnabry, I quite like a lot because because he's so direct, and we have a few players that are very direct. We have Goretzka, who I've considered very direct. Like if those players are in the team, that's what basically I mean with direct. If those players are in the team, I trust them to score or at least get a good shot on target. I trust him to score every 2 to 3 games, basically, and that's the people in our team that we have that I consider that are Muller, used to be Lewandowski, Goretzka, and Gnabry. Those are the players that I would consider good direct players. And now Gnabry extending until 2026. Everyone's thoughts on that. As I said, I'm very happy. I know a lot of you are probably very, very happy about it. Gnabry is a fan favorite. And most importantly, he came here at 22 and is now going to spend his prime years at Bayern.
Yeah, also, it also gives us like, instead of like looking for replacement and the team, because Gnabry is a big player, we can just focus on building our team, making it strong, instead of looking for Lewandowski, Gnabry, this kind of replacement. Now that we've signed a player like Gnabry and we've got like Coman and Kimmich, and so the team this case stronger. So it's good that that we got them signed.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was always going to stay because, like, his best friends are at the club, like Goretzka and Kimmich. So I thought he was always going to end up staying. And I think him signing is good based on the fact that if we lost him for a free, that would be really, really bad. So from the financial side, we had to extend him. There was no shot. You can just let him go for free. And I think with the rumors are Nagelsmann wants to do 2 strikers, so I think he'll be really important for that because I could see him going with Mane and Gnabry up top, and I think that would work really well because both of them are direct and can get you goals.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that after Lewandowski leaving, he's probably one of my favorite players now. I love that he extended. Honestly, can't deny that. And I also think Nagelsmann rates him really high, and I think he will be an important factor, as I said, Daniel. What I love about Gnabry is, as Prince said, he's direct. I love that he's always looking for the goal. Like, I know, for example, Coman, he's like more of a like, yeah, he's trying to cross and play the ball in the middle, but Gnabry always has this, like, he wants to score, and I like that. I like it a lot. I think he's like one of the only wingers we have who does that, and I think that's why I feel like it's one of the most important signing / extension we could have made this season. Like,
yeah. So I want to say 2 things. One, we'll get to this comment later because I think it's actually a very important comment that might factor in with the third. Well, the transfer rumor that came up today about a certain young player that we're going after. So I think that fits quite well. But I very much agree with everything that was said. Gnabry, staying, so on and so forth. Now, Nagels 123, you actually watched the Nagelsmann interview on TV in regards to what Nagelsmann was saying in regards to formation, so on and so forth. Can you just tell us how it came across in terms of because he said obviously that he wants to play with a back 3 and potentially with 2 up front. How did he come across saying that? Is that a definitive thing, or was he we might try this?
No. He got asked whether how will Bayern play now after Lewandowski leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Yeah, it will be hard to replace someone like Lewandowski. I have something in mind with the 2 striker formation." Mm-hmm. And after he said that, he got asked whether what will change in contrast to last season, and he said last season we played a lot of games at the beginning with a back 3 and we played well. Then we changed to a back 4 and we played like shit until from the 20th match day on. And I think that's honestly saying much, right? Why would you say that? Why would you say that they will be playing with back 4 like shit and be playing good with the back 3? And he said that we will be sticking to one formation. I think it's a 3-5-2. I think that's pretty obvious in my eyes. After watching the interview, I think it's the formation we'll be playing, and I think it's also the one which fits us very well because I think Thomas Muller is still a key in our system, and here is his position there. But yeah, go ahead. What do you think? If he says why would he say we played shit with the back 4 and played well with the back 3? You would only say that if you have an intention to play the back 3 the whole season and really want to implement that.
Yeah.
That's why you would also get the Ligt, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But the reason I brought this up was specifically for Gnabry. I think, actually, no, I'm going to ask this question rather. Does everyone here think that Gnabry will be a striker? Either a solo striker or as part of a duo next season?
Yeah. He won't be a winger.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we've got enough wingers, and I think he will do better in there because he's a good goal scorer, as compared to dribbler Coman or Sane. So I feel like he will do well in there. So I'm intrigued to see how it's gonna work, especially if Nagelsmann plays with 2 strikers, because I don't know the system. How is that gonna work? So I don't know. Let's see.
Okay, because the reason I wanted to bring that up is because when we signed Mane, a lot of people said, "Oh, Mane is going to be the replacement for Lewandowski. He's going to be the striker, etc., etc." So, do we think Mane plays there as well, or do we think he plays on the wing?
He's also a striker. I think we're playing with 2 strikers, Mane and Gnabry.
That's what I think too, because he played better as a 9 for Liverpool last season than on the wing, even though he can play both.
Okay. Because again, I was thinking about our team for the last 2 days, 3 days or so before the Lewandowski news came out, and I was thinking we've got too many attackers. We just have too many wingers.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to what me and you were saying before we started the stream about Musiala. Where does he fit in all of this? Because he needs to get as much game time. Because I think most of us can agree that Musiala, it should. Okay, actually, no. I'm going to ask this as a question, I guess. Should Musiala be a starter over, say, Muller, or should Muller still be starting over Musiala at this point?
I think you play both. You play both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could play both of them just because, with Muller, the way he played, the kind of player he is, the impact he leaves. I don't think with Lewandowski gone and Muller, I don't know, he's going to be on the bench. But if you like Musiala, I feel like he's a lot better than with a lot of our wingers, like because of name and age, just because I think the manager just looks at, I don't know, but he's actually a lot better. I personally feel with Sane, for example, or Gnabry, the way they played last season, I think he can do better than them just playing at the wing.
Okay. The reason I'm asking all of these questions, and apologies for just putting you all on the spot like this, but there was one thing that I saw earlier on Twitter, and I thought about that, and I was like, there might be some truth to it, and it's about Thomas Muller. And basically the tweet was something like, or the thread discussion was something like, Muller used to obviously be a lot more like a center forward, like he used to score a lot more goals than he used to assist, and then he adjusted his game to Lewandowski, and he started assisting more than he scores. Now with Lewandowski gone, what's going to happen to Muller? Because he needs a center forward ahead of him. Who's gonna be, who's that gonna be? Or is he gonna be the center forward? Is he gonna have to be a lot more ruthless now? Like, what's gonna happen to Muller? And with Musiala there as well, who's knocking on the door, could Muller maybe go as striker next to Gnabry or next to Mane? Whoever you lot prefer as a striker.
That's a good thought, actually.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think all of them, like Gnabry, Mane, Muller, they'll be competing for the striker position, and this could be like the best time for Musiala because he's not in striker competition. He will be the position where he wants to play is probably the number 10, or maybe if we play 3-5-2, I think he's the number 10 or like one of the like holding midfielders, but I doubt that it's his position, honestly. But yeah, the number 10. But if Muller goes as a center forward, he's the prime to play there. Like, who should play there? There's no one else who could be in the competition for him. So yeah, I think Muller as a striker, I like that.
Okay. Again, I very much agree with this comment by Hannibal that we kind of were bottlenecked in attack in the final third with Lewandowski, even though I do think Lewandowski, is amazing as a footballer. But I do think that there was too much focus, and I think it was very telling that Gnabry's extension happened the second the Lewandowski news came out. I think that's very telling because, as we all said, Gnabry likes to score goals. Lewandowski was absolutely furious most of the time when someone else scored goals other than him. Like when there was like you could have just passed the ball and I could have scored, but instead you took it yourself. Why are you being so selfish? That kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I think it's very telling. I don't think that they necessarily had like an issue against each other, but I think it's very telling that Gnabry extended the second the Lewandowski news came out, considering that we made the offer for him months ago, if your reports are to be believed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Gnabry staying, our attack looks quite flexible. It goes back to, well, do we need more attackers? Do we really need more attackers? Because the reports in France, L'Equipe, in regards to Mathys Tel, the sums are absolutely ridiculous. They're absolutely crazy. They're out of this world for such a young player. But, there are reports saying anything from 25 to 30 million euros. Is that too much for a player like Mathys Tel? Or do you lot think, well, it could be worth it. It's a lot of money, but hey, we should go for it.
I think it's a good deal because you look at what Real Madrid did with Vinicius. They paid like 50 mil for a kid from Brazil, and then no one knew what was going to happen. And then he wins them the Champions League. I think for 30 mil, you have to go for it, especially because if you do listen to the reports and how he's the next big striker out of France, and based off what I've seen of him, which is like literally just highlight videos, he moves like Benzema. So I really like the kid so far, just off the videos. And based off what people say in France, I think it's a no-brainer. Just spend the 30 mil. Even Dortmund spent 20 mil on Sancho when he was a nobody at Manchester City. I think you have to take these risks sometimes and then hope it pays off when you actually play the kid.
Yeah, as Daniel said, you have to take the risk. I don't know if you guys seen his goal record on youth level is crazy, some sort of belly record, because he's like for France under 17, he's got like 5-6 games played, scored 5 games, and then Ren youth team he's also got 6 out of 6. I seen I don't know about him because but when I look at his stats and I trust the Nepe and Brazo, these guys done good job with Musiala and Davies and these young players. So, yeah, I have full trust in them. So let's see. I hope we get him. Just because also the fact that Ren is trying so hard to keep him, they know his value, the kind of player he is. So, yeah, I feel like he might be he might be the real deal.
I think it's a huge risk, yeah. And as Prince said, we might have enough attackers, but I feel like Brazzo is keen on signing him, right? And he is so keen that there's no need to discuss. He will come to Bayern, and even if we pay crazy fees, I think Brazzo doesn't care at all. He wants him, and I think we have to trust him, right? I haven't watched him enough to say whether he's the next Mbappe or the next Henri. I don't know. I hope so, because we're 30 million. But that's more than some Bundesliga clubs spent in the last 5 years. That's crazy amount of money for a 17 years old who hasn't even played that much.
Yep. I'm looking at the stats right now. He's played 7 games in League One.
Yeah, he hasn't scored, right?
I don't know. He
For
hasn't
the
scored.
first team, I don't know. First team, it doesn't say anything much, but with the youth level, I don't know if he started, but if maybe he just came on from like sub as a sub. I don't know though.
Yeah.
But it looks good on youth level.
So the reason I brought up Mathys Tel, 1, the sum, but 2, also this comment here. Now, if you change the word Bayern to just transfer, it's either going to be the transfer of the season or it's going to flop really hard in the face. That's how I feel about it. With these kind of sums, I think we're doing a massive risk. Depends how you look at it. Either like a massive risk where we could be getting the next big star, or this could be wasted money. Very similar to how, I hate saying this because I like the player a lot, but very similar to how we wasted. Let's not use the word wasted, but rather spent. Very similar to how we spent a lot of money on Renato Sanchez a few years ago. With the exception that Renato Sanchez had obviously a lot more experience under his belt. Now, Mathys Tel, if we go up to 30 million, because that's obviously the reported figures, I'm here for it. Because I think it was me, though. I think it was you that said that. You trust in Nagelsmann. Sorry, not Nagelsmann. You trust in Brazo and Nepe. And so do I. I trust the scouting department. Absolutely. 100% completely. And if they want a player, I'm behind it. Until the fees are unreasonable. So recently, obviously, we had the Callum Hudson-Odoi saga that went on for way too long. But you could see like how they really wanted him. But now my issue is Callum Hudson-Odoi hasn't really kicked off at Chelsea. So were they wrong? Or did they just see something else? Are they going to be wrong this time? Or do they just see something? Like, they're just questions that I have about this transfer.
I think it's a risk that's worth taking, as Daniel said. Like with Real Madrid, sometimes if you take the risk, sometimes it could 30 million. It's a lot, but sometimes the chances of him being like the next big thing is because these guys, they know what they're doing. I feel like they wouldn't throw, especially the money just easily, so they know what kind of player they're looking into.
How much do you guys think this is on Nagelsmann? Let's say, how much does Nagelsmann want this guy?
0.
You think 0?
Yeah,
absolutely.
0. I think 0. I think it's all Brazo.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah.
Brazo and Nepe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Nagelsmann has any. I don't think even Nagelsmann even knew who that was until until the club brought it up to him. like Nagelsmann is involved when it comes to like Mane. You know, he was asked like, yeah, absolutely, go for Mane, absolutely. But like in terms of this one, he's gonna be like, huh? Who?
Can you play right back? No.
Do you guys think that he will give a chances to these players? Because last year I was a bit disappointed with Nagelsmann when it comes to rotation. I mean, some of the players, I feel like even after we won the league, he was still playing more or less good team when he could have played like some youngsters like Barner and these guys, Vidovic. And I don't know if Tel and these guys, because when I was watching an earlier video of him playing youth game, he really looked good. So I don't know Nagelsmann if he's the type to rotate games because with the big squad we have next year. What do you guys think?
Well, I think Nagelsmann got bullied into playing at the main 11 last season at the end. He got bullied, and unfortunately, he let himself get bullied. I think I can't remember who it was, but it was someone that mentioned, it's against the competition. You really shouldn't do that. Playing youngsters when we're still fighting for survival, and he's going to play youngsters against the relegation candidates. That's not fair. And then he stopped playing the youngsters. So I think he got bullied into that just by comments from other coaches that were fighting against relegation. Ultimately, did end up getting relegated as well. Do I think he's going to rotate more in the second season? No. Honestly, I don't think so. I think he should because there's a World Cup. And I think the reason why he didn't rotate so much in the first season was because he was still the new coach. You can't really put your foot down and play the way you want to play and rotate how you want to. If you're still a new kid, like you need to, win a few trophies, have a few trophies under your belt, and then you can like be a little bit, do a little bit of like what you want to do rather than, just what the experienced players, the established players tell you to do. And that's why I think he didn't rotate much in the first season. Do I think that's going to change in the second season? I think it should. I think we've got enough attacking players. I think we've got enough midfielders, and I think we've got enough defensive players to where it makes no sense if he doesn't rotate. Because you couldn't make the argument. Last season we didn't have squad strength. We had squad depth, but not actual strength. You can't really make that argument this season. We've got a lot of quality. Like even players that aren't in the first 11 have a lot of quality. So you can't make that argument. I feel like, and he wouldn't be able to make the argument. And then with the World Cup being in December as well, he has to rotate. Otherwise, the players, they're not going to last until the end of the year. Like they're gonna collapse. So that's why I think it makes every sign points towards him rotating more. I for some reason just don't feel like he will.
What do you?
Is that a disagreeing sigh or an agreeing one?
It's I hope you're wrong. Or maybe I don't know. I mean, we are still Bayern, right? We want to win every game. If we need experienced players and like the best of our squad to win the games, it's fine. But if, as Mido said, the last games where everything is decided, he could have played Vidovic way more. To be fair, and he didn't. But I don't know. Maybe there were other agreements which we don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we have like a good team, even with the guys like Werner, Vidovic, and even like subs. They're not like they're good players. They deserve like game time. So I really hope he is changed because if it's like a player like Gravenberg, for example, he's got like a potential to be like a good player. So if he doesn't get enough game time, I feel like he's gonna be like Renato Sanchez all over again. Like he's not being trusted or. So I hope Nagelsmann is like changing this season, like making rotations.
Yeah, absolutely agree. We've got like for every position, especially like if we get Ligt, if we still manage to get Lima, and if we get Mathys Tel, we've got way too much depth. So if he doesn't rotate, people are going like we could go from having too much depth this season to not having any depth next season with all the players that will then want to leave. And we don't even know what's going to happen to Chris Richards. We don't know what's going to happen to Zirkzee. Vanna. Who?
Pavard, right? Do we know whether he stays?
I think
think he'll
Pavard is going to
stay.
stay. I don't think he's going to leave. The rumors dropped off pretty quickly about him leaving.
Yeah, you're right.
With 3 in the back too, he can definitely be a leader on the right side too with the Ligt.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, you know what? Let's talk about 3 at the back. Because we talked about up front and how the strikers would play. But what about the back 3? Obviously, the Ligt is on the cards now. How do I phrase this? Is a 3 at the back the right approach?
Regarding that, I have a question. I don't know whether you see that yesterday with the Lucas Hernandez rumors and PSG wanting him. You saw that?
I did, yeah.
And I said, there's no way we sell Lucas, because if we ever wanted to sell him, we would have gone all in for Schlotterbeck. I think that's even to consider selling him, right? Because we have no other left-footed, right? Or is Nianzou left-footed?
No. I think he's right.
I think he's right.
Yeah, I think he's our only left-footed center back. So no way we lose him or sell him.
I'll quickly just rebuttal that. The reason that we're not going to sell him, it has actually nothing to do with him being left-footed. It has to do with the fact that he is our only substitute left back. So if Davis gets injured, Lucas Hernandez is the only one that's left. It's the same with our right back, especially. But in right back we have Stanisic. You know, that's why Pavard. You could make the argument we could sell him, but on left back we don't have anyone. You could say you could just play Stanisic there, but again, that depends on how good you view Stanisic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 3 at the back. What's everyone's thoughts on that? Because it does seem like Nagelsmann is set on that. It does seem like Nagelsmann is fixated on that. And while we talked about the up front, how that's going to look up front and so on and so forth, we didn't talk about the back. Because let's face it, our issues last season were twofold. It wasn't our attack, it was our midfield and our defense. And we've got Gravenberg, but I think most people would consider Gravenberg a more offensively minded midfielder rather than a defensively minded midfielder. And I don't think we need a defensive midfielder. Like everyone else is saying, I think we just need a midfielder that is more defensively minded. So they could be a central midfielder that is just a lot more defensively conscious than offensively. And we haven't fixed that area yet. I think most people would agree with that. And I think the club would agree with that, considering that we're going after Lima. And then the defense, if we're playing a back 3, is that going to sort any issues, or is that just a stopgap solution?
I think since Nagelsmann's they're planning to keep him long term, I think that's just how it's gonna be with the 3 at the back. Mm-hmm. And I think it's probably gonna end up being De Ligt and Lucas are for sure gonna start. I think Upamecano and Pavard will just compete on that for the right spot. And I think some other players are gonna have to mold around to different positions, because if we do the 3-5-2, we're gonna have 2 wing backs. We're not gonna have real traditional wingers. So I could see Coman and Mazraoui competing on the right, and on the left it would just be Davies. And then you'd have the issue of Sane too, because we have no traditional wingers. So I wouldn't be surprised if we would start playing him the 10 role, with how PSG do with Neymar, where they put him from the left to the middle. But I think with the back 3, it's pretty much set for the long term based on what Nagelsmann wants. And we have 2 defenders who are our mainstay in that back 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work, because if you're talking about 3 at the back, then who are you gonna? You have to sacrifice some of the attack top players we have at the top, because I don't know if you will bench Davies Davies and Mazraoui if they have to be our fullbacks. If you were to play, as Daniel said, the Coman, for example, as a wing back, I don't really get that, because if you play wing back when you actually have a proper right back or a proper left back, it could backfire in big games because of defensive. These guys are like Mazraoui defensive. You can't compare to Coman, for example. I feel like he's not going to stick to one lineup, because we've seen last year how Nagelsmann tried different systems. I think he will keep trying until he finds something that works better for him, and then just sticks with that. I don't know if you remember the games against Villarreal first leg, and then second leg it was a bit 2 different. I think if I'm not mistaken, he played 2 different lineups.
Yeah, but Mito, that's exactly what he said in the interview, right? He said he don't want to do that anymore. He don't want to change up the formation as much. He wants to play one and let the player get used to the formation, so they Yeah, as I said, get used to the formation. That's why I believe if we are the back, I think it's a problem with the right back position because left back is Davis said for sure, but right back is Mazraoui. But then where would Coman play? And Coman will play because he's like one of Nagelsmann's favorite players, right? But where would he play? I think it would be a let's say a competition between Mazraoui and Coman, who will be playing on the right wing back position. And if maybe it's something like if Mazraoui plays, it will be Upa playing on the right center back position, and if Coman play, it will be Pavard. So we could, when we played these, Davis was playing more of the offensive left back, and Pavard was playing more of the defensive. So we had the back four, back three hybrid stuff going on. It might be something we are still going for. And another point with the back three is I think Nagelsmann just likes the back three formation a lot better. And he wants to prove that. I think he somehow has this mindset of proving everyone wrong. You know what I mean? Like, how many Bayern fans are against the back three formation? I remember when there was this European Championship and Germany was playing with the back three. Man, everyone was talking shit to Joachim Löw. They'd be like, "Stop this nonsense! Back three is shit. Go back to back four." And I think it's something Nagelsmann don't see. I think he is generally believed that the back three is the superior formation. So maybe that's also a reason why he wants to play Bayern with the back three. But yeah, just my take on that.
Well. I think actually the reason why so many Bayern fans and Germany fans for for a better scope, why they love the 4-2-3-1. Really, that's what they want is because Champions League 2013, and then the dominant Germany the dominant Germany era from rough. I mean, you can say dominant. I guess I don't know what you want to consider that dominant, considering only one World Cup was won. But from 2008-ish until 2000, honestly until 2014, obviously not the first few games that we did play a back three then, and then a few injuries happened, and once I think it was after the Algeria game, we went back to a back four, and then suddenly we looked so much better. Beating France, then beating Brazil, and then obviously winning the World Cup against Argentina. So it just brought a lot of success over the years, which is why people still believe it's the superior formation. Now, I obviously look at it different. I look at it based on who we have as players, and I think the coach should play however he wants to play, if I'm being completely honest. I do think there is a lot more pressure on Nagelsmann than there ever has been on any manager in Bayern history.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I say that is because the club has officially recognized that, how do I phrase this without sounding, you know what, forget sounding rude, I don't care. The club has officially recognized that the Bundesliga, for the most part, is trash.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. I've never seen the higher-ups at the club ever talk about wanting to win the Champions League as often as I have in the last 12 months. Every time we make a signing, what do they say? Yeah, we bought him for the Champions League. We want to bring the Champions League back to Munich. Rummenigge, Uli Hoeneß, would never, ever have said that. Rummenigge's most famous saying is, the Bundesliga is the most honest title. And Uli Hoeneß just says, yeah, the Bundesliga, that's our bread and butter, that's our main thing. And suddenly the club's aspirations and the club's goals are the Champions League. That's what I think even Nagelsmann himself brought this up. He was saying, I think at the end of last season, he was saying, yeah, the Bundesliga is nice, but next season we need to have more trophies. So there's a lot of pressure on Nagelsmann. There was a lot of pressure on the likes of Brazzo. You could say our whole scouting department and our upper managerial department to get good signings. So my question to all of you is the squad more capable of winning the Champions League now than it was last season?
Just to add something to your point, did you see the Oliver Kahn interview? I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, where he said that he wants the Bundesliga to be more competitive because he's sick of the English fans calling it the Farmers League.
Farmers League.
Yeah, That's ridiculous. That's already says everything about the Bundesliga and what Oliver Kahn thinks. He thinks the Bundesliga is not worth anything. At least just winning the Bundesliga, right? I think he still wants to win it. Like, he thinks we will win it, but it's not like Bundesliga alone is like anywhere satisfying. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. I just love the fact that Khan is on Twitter and says that farmer league allegations. Be like, fuck off, we're not a farmers league, but actually we are.
I thought the quote was fake when I first read it. I'm like,
I looked at it. I was like, okay, that's I Mia Zam Mia, not I.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way, you just called it a farmers league. No way.
But I mean, it is telling. It is very telling.
He's played some dead league.
Honestly, the league. I wish it was better. Like, I wish I could get excited for like the league position. But like when I watch football, when I watch us play, I don't even look at like the league. I don't even look at what the other teams are doing. Like I watch the other teams play because I want to see how they play football. But when I don't ever look at the table. Like I don't ever look at it. It's like the people that said with Lewandowski, leaving today. What are the how much do Dortmund's chances increase to win the Bundesliga? And I'm just like 0.
Mm-hmm.
0. It's not happening. You can keep dreaming, and I wish you lot did better, but there is no competition, unfortunately.
I only checked the league table once, which is in December, to get a good chuckle at Dortmund. But besides that, there's no point in looking at it, like you said.
It's sad, actually. Like honestly, that needs a whole discussion by itself, whether the 50+1 needs to be abolished or not. But I think I need a lot more time to make a good argument for and against whichever side I'm going for. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Ligt. I think a lot of people want to talk about the Ligt, so let's talk about the Ligt. With Lewandowski being sold and the club coming out, Khan, Salihamidzic coming out today saying, yeah, we've had talks with the Ligt. You know what? We'll have some more talks, but he wants to come to us. What's everyone's thoughts? How close is this deal to being done realistically? Like, do you think it will happen next week, or do you think there might be some issues on the way? Do you also think he's worth that money? Because the price, I think, just seems to be going up every single week. And do you think Bayern will just pull the trigger and get it done?
Yeah, what scares me is that we can't go from wanting the Ligt to nobody. So I'm just wondering, I really hope it happens, because at the moment Koulibaly went to Chelsea. I don't know if there's any other options, and because we really need someone like the Ligt, and because I feel like it will happen, but depends on if Juve just keep on sticking to crazy amount, then I don't know if that. But just because we don't have that plan B, I don't know. I really hope it happens at least.
It will happen. 100% will happen. And it will be one of the best transfers we ever did. It's just because I think he's that good and so wasted at Juventus. The way they play doesn't fit him. But you had another question, Prince. You were asking about whether our squad is good enough to win the Champions League. With the league, yeah, with the league, yeah, 100%.
I feel like we need like a protection for that. Your defense is only as good as your protection. If when we had Thiago, we were more solid, like proper team, like a balanced team. But with if we don't get anyone like Lima, for example, I don't know Lima. Yeah, I think he would be more like he's a pressing machine. So I think he would be better than not getting any midfielder to defend, protect the defense. If we just have the Ligt and just only the Ligt, I feel I still feel like we're still short of maybe one player to win the Champions League. That's why I feel. I don't know what anyone else feels. I don't know if it's good enough to win.
Do you think that Nianzou could do a job? I'm being serious.
I wouldn't mind him getting tried in the Bocal games or something like that, just to play in the CDM to see how he does. I hope he does try.
I think you can play in the Bocal, maybe the 6th game of the Champions League group stage, and then call it quits.
You can also try it against like shitty teams like
Wait, actually, I
Schalke,
take that back.
Bremen.
Okay, Bayern fan will kick me out of the call. Start Nianzou every game.
Yeah, okay, good. You can stay. You can stay. Okay. All right. I do want to talk a little bit about the younger guys. I'm sorry. I know that wasn't on the plan, but I do want to, because I was watching the team presentation today. Vidovic, Vanna. I mean, we talked about him a little bit, but Musiala, Nianzou, Stanisic, and then Zirkzee. And I want to start with Zirkzee. Is he going to stay at Bayern? Are we going to sell him? Could he be a striking solution that we've all been ignoring, besides me, because I'm a huge fan of his, but, I'm not trying to shift the argument here. I'm just saying, could he be the solution that's staring us in the face, but that we are just too blind to see?
I would
think
say
you are
just
the only one.
I would say just next season, just because we don't know what it's gonna be like without actually having proper striker. Just keep him, just him and Tel, just in case things like don't work out with the false nine or like just see. I'll just keep him.
I think he's good enough to play for a squad like for a team like Gladbach or any other like mid-table club, and I think this should be the right move for him. Going in to another Bundesliga club and then develop there instead of just, let's be honest, he won't get much playtime at Bayern. I don't think he will. I don't think he's a solution. I think the board doesn't rate him as much. I think he should deserve a chance. Like, honestly, I think he should go with us to the US trip and see how he performs, but I don't think the board trusts him as much.
Yeah, I agree with Noggles because I think if you're Xerxes and you came off a pretty good season and you see like Bayern really wanting Mathys Tel for the short and medium term for the striking spot, I would be pretty pissed. And I don't think he's going to get that many games because Nagelsmann doesn't really rotate. And even though I'm a big fan of him, I think it's best for him to go to a mid-table Bundesliga club. I think like on a team like Frankfurt, he would do really, really well there. So I think it'd be best to just get some cash for Bayern and then let him get game time somewhere else, and then maybe put a buyback clause.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams interested. Bayern can get money from him, so I feel like his loan that a lot of teams saw what he can do. So yeah, with a lot of teams interested in him, I can see like mid-table teams like Stuttgart and teams like that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question then, just to follow up on that. Let's phrase this the right way, just so no bias here shows. You've got a player that last season played 47 games, scored 18 times, and got 13 assists in the Jupiler Pro League, and you're interested in a player that has had 49 minutes in first-tier French league. Why do you not trust that player that has played 47 games last season, scored 18 goals and assisted 13? And is it
because
very,
the only
very young?
reason because the reason we are signing Tel is because we want this. We want to be early. I think we see the next big thing in him, and I think that's the reason we are even spending that much, right? I don't think it's about. Maybe Xerxes is better at the moment, but I think Bato thinks Tel's ceiling is way higher. That's why.
Yeah.
But you are right. You are right in the fact that we should be trusting Xerxes more than Tel. But I think it's a hopeless try. I think it's
Yeah, I
already.
think we know what like Bayern now what kind of player Zerski is, whereas like Tel, because the potential, he's like he could be what he could be. So that's why clearly I think because of the type of player that Tel could be and could help Bayern.
Okay, let's move on from Xerxes. Although there's one thing that I do want to say. What if Tel ends up being another app? Did you think
It could
that?
happen.
Yeah,
Could happen.
It's always risk. So yeah, we're just taking a risk. So
I mean, when we look at the young players we bought recently, Musiala, Nianzou, and then Davies. 2 out of the 3 did pretty well.
Who's
Pretty well.
Who's the one that didn't do well?
Yeah, but Nyanzu still has good opportunities ahead of him. I think like with 3 at the
Yeah.
back, he'll definitely get more game time, whereas with 4 in the back, he's not going to be trusted as much. So I think this season you'll see him break out.
Okay, I'll allow that.
Yeah.
Right. Stanisic. What's people's thoughts on him for this upcoming season? Is he gonna have a breakout season? Should he leave? We've got, as I said, we've got Nazarou right now. And we even still have Bruno Zar as a right back option. What about Stanisic? He's young. He's played a few games. He, impressed quite well. Should he not be trusted more?
He's decent, but I think he's a good backup, and that's it. I don't, at least at Bayern level, I don't think he's like good enough to be a regular starter.
But he pocketed Mbappe.
Oh, let's go! Pocketed him in one game.
I think it's a good player to have in our squad. So another reason why Nagelsmann needs to rotate the players like him, needs to get like Pokal games, or like the small games in the Bundesliga. You need to rotate to give a chance these players. Yeah.
Okay. Well, another name. I mean, we've gotten rid of Omar Richards. What about Chris Richards? Is he going to start? Is he going to play?
No.
What's his season going to look like?
Sell him to Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
I don't think he's good enough. I think Jans was there for the prospect centre back position.
Tarasif, very quickly. Very quickly.
No way you replace me.
Okay, who's next in the young guns? Well, we talked about Musiala a little bit, so I guess we'll just breeze over Musiala. What's your thoughts on Musiala's spot in the? I mean, you could say starting 11, not just squad, but in the starting 11. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but if you have anything else to say in regards to Musiala, be my guest. Okay,
Well,
no one.
Like what can we say? Musiala, we all know what kind of player he's like. Like when he plays for Flick, the national team, it's like a different player. Like the way he is, we just think we have this player, how big he is, like a kind of player. So we are lucky to have him. So I hope he gets a lot of game time next season.
Okay. I'm going to ask one last question. I asked it earlier, and I kind of got inconclusive answers. So I'll ask this again and hopefully get more conclusive answers. Musiala over Muller? ? Is there anyone here saying yes?
You already asked about it.
Besides me. Because I'm saying yes. I say Muller goes to the bench. He plays 30% of the game. Musiala plays 70%. I know that's really unpopular because for me, I think Muller is the most important player in the team. And I'd still start Musiala over him. And I thought Muller was the most important player for the team for the last 5 years. But I still would start Musiala over him.
How can you say Muller is the most important player in the team and still replace him? I know Musiala is that good, but...
Because I value performances more rather than importance. So, for example, if Neuer was playing horribly, I'd have Ulreich in goal over him. For me, it's strictly performance.
Okay.
And Musiala just brings more to the table, whereas Muller, even outside of his performances, he just brings so much to the team. Basically, when Muller plays well, the team generally plays well. But if he's not playing well, I can't have him in the squad. I can't have someone else that is playing better than him not start over him just because of his importance. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think like Nagelsmann will do that. I think Muller is too big of a player at the moment, at least, to be benched for this team. So I feel like he definitely should be ahead. Let's see, because Muller is not going to get any younger the next few years, so he might not have like as good of season next season to begin with. So
absolutely, but as I said, I agree with you. I don't think Nagelsmann is going to do that. That's what if I was the manager, right? If I was in charge of Bayern, I would be hated. Like I would be Mourinho at Real Madrid levels hated, where he started, benching Casillas. He like even decided to bench Xabi Alonso for a while and Ramos. That's me. that would be me. And I don't care about all the fans booing me because I'd just be like, I'm doing it the way I want to do it. I was hired for this job. I'm going to do it my way. And if I fail my way, at least I can say I did it my way. But all right. How about the tricked, the bamboozled, the one that we committed fraud on, Vanna, where we were hyping him up. All the newspapers were hyping him up. The team was hyping him up. The management was hyping him up. He signed his new contract and he never saw another minute of game time again. What about him?
I don't think he'll get much game time. He's gonna get much game time. Yeah.
Man gets scammed.
Yeah, because like he's not gonna play in the midfield, but he's got so many there. And then in offense, let's be honest, he's not gonna play in the front three. Like we've got Sane, Muller, Mane, Gnabry, soon to be Ronaldo. He's not gonna be up there.
What? Okay.
And then in the midfield, it's just too stacked. We finessed that kid so hard. Like Bayern should the upper management, someone should be put in jail for the deal they gave Werner.
I mean, he's still young. We can loan him just for a few years and then just put a lot or sell him, but with a buyback, or because he's a great player. So we have could be one of these players like a Muller, from our youth. So the contract extension means just like for the future, just not now.
Vanna will not play that much, as I said, and I think we don't want to loan him out, as Brazzo will probably put on pressure on Nagelsmann and tell him, please play more often, bro. He's like, we told him that you get more play time, and he actually doesn't. So, yeah.
Okay, just because Daniel mentioned him, I'll mention him too. Ronaldo to Bayern. Ronaldo not at Bayern. Ronaldo's mum liking Instagram pictures about Ronaldo in a Bayern kit. And who was it? I forgot even. Koch with his Ronaldo to Bayern hourglass tweet. And then the club immediately, like 2 hours later, immediately shutting that down, saying, nope, we appreciate Ronaldo, we like Ronaldo, but you know what? We're not interested. We weren't interested. We're not interested. We won't be interested in him to Bayern. And yet the rumors don't stop. What is going on? Why is the Ronaldo to Bayern story this big? Why hasn't it been shut down after the club publicly shut it down multiple times now? Multiple people from the club have shut it down. Why is it still going? Is this a typical case of where there is smoke, there is fire, or is this just a game by Ronaldo's management? Just they're trying to get Ronaldo to Bayern, but Bayern is not biting. They're not taking the bait. They're seeing the bait and they're running away from it. What is going on with the Ronaldo to Bayern story, and why has it not stopped? And do you want it? Do you want him at Bayern potentially? Let's hear it. Daniel, I want to start with you because you brought him up. Go for it.
So I know the club has said multiple times they're not in for him, but this is also the same club that shamelessly said Lewandowski is staying no matter what multiple times. So whatever they say, I don't give a fuck. They're not going to tell us they're getting Ronaldo before they're in talks for him. And I think there's no one on the market who's good enough to start right away, who's young and can develop. Kane, no shot we can afford him. There's no way. But we were linked to him next summer. I think you get Ronaldo in 2 years. He bangs you any goal he wants in. Shows up in the Champions League. It's perfect. He'll take the wage cut because he's desperate to move. I think it all adds up to where Ronaldo will be at the Allianz Arena. And then it will be the perfect marketing strategy too. You've got Ronaldo and Mane, big names to replace the quote-unquote marketing power of Lewandowski. I think it's perfect from all angles. It's going to happen.
I would only want him for just for popularity and things like that. But I don't know because Nagelsmann, I don't think he will have his way if Ronaldo comes. That guy, I don't think he will listen to be on the bench or anything like that. So I feel like I don't know if Ronaldo to Bayern it would be a good good thing. I'm not sure. I'm 50-50 on that.
I'm always like change my opinion on that. Yesterday I was like, yeah, bring him in. Now after seeing Gnabry extension and Nagelsmann scenario of bringing a 2-striker system and Gnabry being number 9, I'm like, no, don't bring him in. And honestly, Christian Falk asked Nagelsmann, right, whether it's true that he wants to coach Ronaldo, and he said, no, that's not true. I've also read that, which is like, as Prince said, it's crazy how much we deny it, and still it doesn't go away. I think the reason for it is honestly just because for many people this move just makes so much sense that they want to force it. Like, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you see, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Ronaldo to Bayern. That's a logical move for him. That's the move." Still missing the Bundesliga title, he would be winning it in every like major league. And with Bayern, he can still play Champions League, and they are looking for a Lewandowski replacement. It fits together well, right? But even though we say no, they're like, "Oh yeah, there's still hope," because it just doesn't. It just makes so much sense for it not to be true. So yeah, that's my explanation of why it's still going on, despite us denying it and everyone in at the club denying it.
Okay.
What's your thoughts?
Well, give me 1 second. Because I'm getting a call right now. Damn it, that didn't work. That was an ad. Oh, I was gonna do a call from Ronaldo's agent, but that didn't work. Anyway, I've got inside scoops from Ronaldo's agent himself. Basically, he confirmed that Ronaldo to Bayern is coming on the 21st. Trust me, on the 21st of July, he'll be at Bayern. Official. Trust me on this one. I've got my sources. I've got my secret sources. A little bit of pasta and a little bit of carbonara. I've got my sources. Trust me on this one. But no, I don't think Ronaldo to Bayern is happening. I don't think that's happening in the slightest. I think, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think Koch actually, how do I put this? He lost all his credibility today. I think
he did. He's so dumb.
Yeah, just with that Lewandowski, he got a lot of impressions. He's got a lot of retweets, a lot of likes. But I think he lost a lot of credibility that he was building up this summer. Because, like, I never considered AZ Abendzeitung, credible. I didn't think they had any sort of sources at Bayern. But this summer they were good. They were first report on a lot of things, and I think he just lost all the reputation that he's built up over.
Yeah, what I don't get is that he said yesterday something like Bayern are planning with Gnabry and Mane up front, and then today him posting that, I thought he knew something was up, because he said something else yesterday, so I thought something else must be going on. But the fact that I think he lost the credibility.
And honestly, two things in my mind are the reason why he posted that. It could be the reason why he posted that. One, he was told by Ronaldo's agent to kind of put pressure on the club, and that clearly backfired. Maybe he heard something from Ronaldo's agents, and he was like, you know what? Oh, I've got inside exclusive scoops, but that didn't work out clearly. Because typically, journalists, they get the info from clubs. They don't get the info from the actual agents. That just doesn't happen that often. But he clearly was wrong here. And the second thing is, something must have happened. And I don't know what happened, but something must have happened between yesterday and today with the news of Lewandowski leaving and this. Because, all right, okay, I guess I'm going to ask this question, I guess. Does anyone here think that this was just made up? Or does anyone think he heard something from someone?
The Koch tweet?
Yeah, the Koch tweet.
Yeah.
I think it's legit. I think he knows what he's talking about.
Do you think so or do you hope so? Because obviously you aren't Ronaldo at Bayern, so...
I think I don't think he's dumb enough to just throw his credibility out the window. I think what he wants to do is look like a 500 IQ genius to where he tweeted out the hourglass, and if it doesn't happen, he can just say, "Oh, it was an hourglass. That's the deal not happening." Or if it happens, he can say, "I predicted it early on."
Nah, that'd be stupid. I don't think so. Yeah, it's a good thought, but I honestly also think he knows something, right? He knows maybe as put said, not from the club, but maybe someone like said to him, "Bro, it's actually a thing." Yeah, Bratzo contacted him last night after the Lewandowski deal was finished. He was like, "Yeah, let's see whether Ronaldo still wants to join." Haha. But actually, mm, I don't think it's happening. I don't think. I think Ronaldo wants to, but we don't want him. As sad as it sounds, actually, but yeah. Daniel, you want him because actually, if Ronaldo comes to Bayern, it would be the biggest like PR push in America, right?
Oh, he's my favorite player too of all time. So for that reason, I want
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well. I just want to say this. I don't think it's happening. I don't think he fits. What TK here is saying is very much what I think as well. Not so much the wages, because I think if he were to join, he would take a significant wage cut. But I think it's maybe not even the ego thing. But Lewandowski had an ego, a massive ego. Ronaldo has a massive ego too, and that can often be a positive thing. But in this case, with Nagelsmann being as young as he is, you can't have players, be like 4 5 years old. I mean, Ronaldo would be what, 4 years older than him or 3 years older than him. They're not going to respect you that much. Like, especially a player like Ronaldo who's won so much and who has such a huge ego. He's not going to respect you that much. We saw it with Lewandowski. With Lewandowski, there were reports constantly that Lewandowski didn't respect Nagelsmann that much, and that's the reason why I don't think it's a reason why I think the club is definitely moving towards a more, how do I phrase this, buddy kind of club, where you see a lot of like players that have played together for years, in youth clubs like Gnabry and Kimmich, for example. That kind of generation where they've played together for a long time, where they're friends, where they're all, friends with each other, where they're all cordial with each other. And you don't have anyone that's like stands out above anyone else with like an ego or like a presence. And I think that probably was like a big factor as well why the club allowed Lewandowski to leave too, because they were like, you know what, actually this could be the perfect time for us to continue our trend. And as you can see, most of our signings are relatively young players or players that are known for being very nice guys. Mane, obviously a perfect example of like an older player that we got that is known for being a nice person, as just on a personal level. And I think without any ego, basically, that's what I mean. And the players don't need to be friends with each other, but at least have no ego. Like, you can't really look at our team, and I guess you can, but I'm not going to. But you can't really look at our team and say, oh, we've got one player that like stands out from the rest unjustly. With Lewandowski, people were saying, he earns too much. Why is he earning more than, for example, Neuer? Why is he earning more than, for example, Muller? They're just as important as him, but obviously he saw himself as significantly more important, and that's why there was a little bit of an ego thing, because we fulfilled his wishes. We don't really have that at the club anymore. Like, everyone's getting a lot of money, maybe wrongly so, because our wage structure is just a complete mess. But also, we just have players in the right age right now.
Yeah.
And that's why Ronaldo to Bayern makes absolutely zero sense to me, which is why I think it's going to happen.
That's what I like to hear.
It makes zero sense to me. And the reason why I think it's going to happen is because I think Rennes are actually going to reject our offer for Mathys Tel. And I think the club
30 million offer.
Yeah. And I think the club is going to be like, we need one more attacking player. And I feel like we all talked about Zirkzee, but I think they might look at a stopgap solution for a year or two. And that stopgap solution is going to be Ronaldo. Because as I said earlier, where there is smoke, there has to be some sort of fire. And I don't know why. There is no logic that makes sense that we would go for Ronaldo. But just something at the back of my mind says, and despite I don't want him at Bayern. Let me just make this clear. I don't want Ronaldo at Bayern at all. But something at the back of my mind just screams, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I don't know what that is, but that voice is getting louder and louder. The more rumors continue, it's getting louder and louder and telling me it's gonna happen. It makes no sense, but it's gonna happen. And that's why I think it's gonna happen. I'd much rather have Messi. We should go for Neymar. That's who we should go for.
Neymar?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. Yes. Neymar.
I also hate him, actually.
That's what we should be going for. I know he's going to be injured half the season, but the half the season that he isn't injured, we should be going for him. that's my thing. But yeah.
Swap deal for Sane. Sane to PSG, Neymar to Bayern.
Oh, the Sane rumors were interesting. Him being offered to Real Madrid and Chelsea and stuff, but
Real Madrid won't take him. Look. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about Sane, because we talk about our attacking options, and we haven't talked about Sane, because we've talked about, Coman can play here, Gnabry can play there, Mane can play there, Muller can play here, Musiala can play there. Oh, Vanna. Oh, yeah, absolutely nice. Not one person has mentioned Sane.
What you said,
I think he'll play at the 10 behind the strikers, and if we do 3-5-2.
Good shot.
I love these two comments. Happy to see you back at Bayern Fan TV, and then just immediately right after Neymar. Hell no. That sums it up, I guess. But it's like it's sadly the forgotten person. Is he just the forgotten person? Like we all think about, like Gnabry. Let's be honest, Gnabry didn't have a perfect season last season. And yet people would much rather start Gnabry over Sane, who had, 2 months last season that were very good.
Yeah, I feel like the hype for Sane died down a bit, because the first half of the season last season was really good, but then again, he just wants to play when he wants to play. It's like sometimes you can see him being lazy. I remember a while back Cruz saying something about him, like him being like lazy and stuff. But I don't know, Sane. I don't know if he's committed to just being the player he can be. So I don't know. That's why I prefer for me Coman. Yeah.
What a fall from grace, eh? Go on, Nagels.
Sane needs to prove himself, and I think he even has more like as bad as it sounds, he has better chances to become a regular starter than Musiala, which is weird. I know, because Musiala is like, he proved to be a special player and he performed really well. But I think there's like this 60 million fee, and as Sane being in his prime age, everything involved, I think if he plays well, he probably has a good shot at becoming a regular starter. But as we are kind of seeing Nagelsmann going for the 3-5-2, right? The position where he would play is like probably only Müller's position left. And then he has to surpass Müller. And that's crazy to believe that Sane would start over Müller. So for Sane, it will be the toughest season yet. And that's why I was not even opposed to selling him for a good price this season. Because honestly, if he flops this season, right? The next season, it would be very hard to sell him for a good price. Like, why would you still take Sane? Yeah,
I was gonna say, if he plays like the second half of the season again next season, is probably I don't think a lot of teams would be interested in.
And I don't know whether you saw the tweets of someone saying, Bayern is Real Madrid is interested in Sane, and they were like, yes, go for him. Oh my God, he's the solution we are looking for. He's the right wing we need. Get him. And we were like, and Bayern's gonna be like, guys, do they know about him? Do they even know who this guy is?
Well,
And-
to be fair, Real Madrid would do that about every player because they are desperately in need for for a winger. So
Yeah, you're right though. Yeah, just like
But-
Chelsea, they also went like crazy for him.
yeah, but I do get your point.
Yeah, what is your thought, Prince? Where would Sane play if he plays as good as he did in like first half of last season?
Well, honestly, being 100% honest, I don't think he's gonna play much. I think he'll play because Nagelsmann will play him, but not because of the form. The thing that annoys me with Sane, unlike Coleman, unlike Gnabry, and honestly, unlike Mane as well, when I watch Liverpool, when they play bad because nothing is working for them, but you still see them try. But with Sane, when he plays bad, maybe it just looks like it. It could just be that it just looks like it. But it feels like he doesn't care. And that's my biggest issue. Like, I don't mind players here because everyone can have an off day. Everyone can have a bad day, but as long as you keep trying, I don't mind you having a bad day. With Sane, it's just a case of for months on months and months on end, he doesn't look like he wants to play football. He looks like he'd much rather just, sit at home and be on the beach somewhere. Whereas with everyone else, even when they're playing bad, they still look like, okay, we want to try play, so on and so forth. And that's my big issue with Sane. And realistically, I can't put him above Gnabry. Okay, let's say this is the Champions League final, right? I think that's always the best way to look at games because every other game, typical games in the season, so on and so forth. But let's say Champions League final. Does he get into the squad? For me, no. He doesn't. Sorry, not squad. The first team. He gets into the squad, sure, but first team, no, he doesn't. Who am I gonna pick? Him over? Gnabry? No. Coleman? No. Mane? No. Muller? No. Musiala? No. Goretzka? No. Kimmich? No. Vanna? No. Vidovic?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, careful. But yeah, I just wouldn't. That's my issue. Tubbs, just to go back to that question about Lewandowski replacement, we did talk about it. Yeah, most of us here agreed because of Nagelsmann's comment earlier in the interview today that he said that he wants to play with two strikers up front. Most of us kind of agreed that like Mane and Gnabry are gonna like take that role. Some of us think that Xerxes. I mean, some of us, I basically just mean myself, think that Xerxes has a potential shot. We've been linked with Tel. A lot of people, think that he's going to be very important, very, a big deal for our team. But the majority of people think that it's going to be Gnabry and Sane as the two players up front. So that's kind of to answer your question. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on Sane, everyone? Like, do you think, in terms of the players that I mentioned, does he get over them? Does he get over them into the team, into the first 11? Would you trust him in a Champions League final over, say, Gnabry, over, say, Coman, over Mane, over Muller? We don't know.
No, but I would definitely trust him more than Vanna, Vidovic, or anyone else you mentioned who's like still a young prospect because you wouldn't.
No.
Vanna played like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Sane,
that doesn't matter to me. And in those 10 minutes, he showed more than Sane did nearly in 2 years.
That's
no,
not true.
come on, that's gas.
Come on, you are
that's not.
Sane got like 3 times in a row player of the month. He was brilliant for us the first half of the season. He scored a lot of goals. He played really well. And then I don't know what happened, but he went like shit. He was shit the entire second half. But yeah, he wouldn't start above Gnabry's, Mane, Coleman, Muller, Musiala. Like they're all above him, but he would start again for all of these as a youngsters. Yeah, for me at least. What are your thoughts, Daniel?
If Sane plays to his potential in top form consistently, he's probably our best player, to be honest. But he's only done that for 5 games maximum. So I can't really trust him to perform consistently. I would love to see him do that because I think if he did, he would be our best player, but he hasn't done that, which is really disappointing. So I would not trust him in a Champions League final as of now. If he did hit that form, 100% he starts. But yeah, that's not gonna. It doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. So he definitely does not start a Champions League final for me.
I just love the fact how different people watch football, right? Prince is so much different than, let's say, to me. He's like, Sane is not even that good. He wants Nianzou to start. He has such a different perspective on football than we have.
Yeah.
Right? He says he's going for performance. He says his performance values performance over importance and wants Nianzou to start.
Yeah.
That says that he has clearly a different perspective on football than we do, which is like completely fair, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's just shows that all of these debates about who's the best player and who's like just so different. You cannot really. Okay, you could say that Messi's the greatest, but still, it's hard to discuss about other facts about football. I remember yesterday I was saying that I think Mbappe is better than Henry, and I just got people were like, "You are so fucking dumb. Why would you say that?" And I still generally believe that he's a better player. Like he'll become a bigger legend than Henry is. I think he has a better talent and everything, but just my opinion, right? And that's also how Prince thinks about Nianzou. Didn't you say it's like Nianzou has a ceiling of being the best defender in the world?
Yep, I did. I think it's a very reliable ceiling. I think if he were to play consistently for one season, I think he'd become the best defender in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There are certain factors that I have about certain players, and that's why I think certain ways. But as I said, as you kind of alluded to it, football is a weird sport because you can view you can view football and you can view it completely different. You can view the same team, 20 games in a row, and you'd have 2 different thoughts. And that's kind of why I like talking about football, because everyone has different thoughts. As I said, I think Messi is the best player of all time. Do I think he's the greatest player of all time? No, I think the greatest player of all time is Maradona. And that's because the way I value best and greatest and important and form is different. Like in terms of in terms of importance, as I said, Muller number 1, Neuer is very high, but what matters to me, there's a lot of various factors, and it kind of goes back to what used to be in my description about consistency. I value consistency more than peak performances.
That's why Philipp Lahm is. I think you said about Philipp Lahm. Right?
That's why Philipp Lahm will always be a greater player than Zidane for me. That's what my description used to be. And I know people had issues with that, but that's the way I view football, because I'd much rather have a player that drops 8 out of 10s every single week without fail than a player that drops 10 out of 10s every 3 games, which you could make the argument Gnabry is. But then also the argument is, when does Sane drop those 10 out of 10 performances? Anyway, Sane, I don't have issues with him, but I kind of want to piggyback off of this comment. My wing preference, I don't agree with your wing preference, if I'm being honest. Mine would be Mane, Musiala, Gnabry, Coman, Sane.
We don't have wings though.
Yeah, I know, but I'd still play Musiala, over Gnabry, Coman, and Sane, if I'm being completely honest. I just think Musiala is too talented. He's too talented. Where like you need to play him every single game now, and if you trust him with I think he should be our starter. Straight up, I think he should be our starter. I think put him as a striker. Play a false 9.
He has good finishing.
Yeah, he's very good shot on him.
I just think, unfortunately, I think the club isn't daring enough unless injuries happen, and I think that it's gonna hold back Musiala's development, because I think Musiala could be a 20 goals, 20 assists kind of player. Not in the Bundesliga, but in all competitions. But I think just because he isn't given the opportunity, there
wouldn't even be in a debate whether Musiala is as good as Pedro or someone like Bellingham. If he would be playing every game, everyone would see that he's at their level, if not better, right? But just because he doesn't play that much, and They don't know how difficult it is to play at the club like Bayern and to start when you have players like Muller and Lewandowski's and Gnabry's who are also fighting for your position, right? It's not like Dortmund will be playing Bellingham even if he's 16 just because they don't even have competition on that position. That's the difference, right? Pedri only starts plays because Barcelona were broke. They had no money. They had to trust on their youth, and it worked out. But still, it's just different.
It's kind of the argument I always have. Not argument, but more so like the viewpoint I have with Wirtz and Musiala. I think Musiala would be ahead of Wirtz if Musiala played at Leverkusen. But because Wirtz has played at Leverkusen, which means that he gets so much game time and he's able to develop himself, he's ahead of Musiala. But in terms of pure talent, I actually think Musiala is like far ahead of anyone in world football, honestly. Now, who knows? Mathys Tel might be the greatest thing since sliced bread that I just haven't seen. But
sliced bread? Wait, when we come to the end, we still need to do our updated formation.
Absolutely.
Because I think Daniel can't stay for much longer, right? You said something about
I'm probably going to have to dip in a bit.
All right. We can call it quits here if you want and just do our updated formation. Because as I said, I don't want this one to be too long because I do fully believe that early next week, I thought it was going to be, this week, late this week, but early next week, I think the Ligt to Bayern is going to be confirmed. I think there's the fact that the club is so open about it and talks about it in public, not just Brazo, who's known to like talk about players in public a lot of the time, but also Oliver Kahn today mentioning it. I think it's basically a done deal. I think we just need to find the last few details, and then I think it's a done deal, especially with Lewandowski leaving today. I think it's a done deal. I think it was Heiner actually that today said as well. There's still going to be a few more signings, a few more additions.
He did say that.
In my mind, a few means 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's Tel and De Ligt.
I think it's going to be Tel, De Ligt, and I think we're going to try going for Lima again, like really seriously. But the way I see it, I think De Ligt is basically done. So that's why we didn't spend so much time on De Ligt today, because I do think that transfer is basically wrapped up. I think Tuesday, Wednesday is when we're going to hear I think Tuesday is when we're going to hear from all the reporters say it's a done deal. And then Wednesday, Thursday is when we're going to hear from the club actually announce it. That's my thought, honestly.
Yeah. Because that transfer was done the second Brazo Jr. tweeted.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it would make sense to get the Ligt in as early as possible, because we're obviously going on our USA tour. So I think those practice games, those training matches, so on and so forth against DC United. I think the first game, which funny enough, DC United, Julian Gressel, who plays for DC United, I don't know whether you lot saw it, but he's leaving them as well. He was someone that I thought could have maybe worked out for the German national team, if I'm being honest. I know he plays in America for DC United, who are a pretty bad team, but I had an eye on him, and I thought maybe an alternative for Germany, maybe, I don't know. Well, he's leaving them as well. He basically got, because America, you get traded. So he basically got traded like in the NBA. And 2 minutes later, the journalist already reported. He was like, wow, you lot found out 2 minutes after me. And I thought that tweet was hilarious, because that would never happen in Europe, where a player just gets forced to leave without them even having a say. I mean, you look at De Jong right now for Barcelona. He's not leaving. He wants his money, but he got shipped out. And the journalist knew about it right away. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I do think the club want to have De Ligt in as early as possible, so that he can be part of the America tour that's happening next week, which is good. Football is going to be back. I can't wait. I hate the summer window. I hate the summer transfer window, if I'm being completely honest. Every time I look forward to it, and then it feels too long.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Every other Bundesliga club already does friendlies beside us.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when the rumors start to stretch more than 2 weeks, it gets really annoying.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true.
But all the other clubs, they've had games already. I mean, you've had Dortmund, who've had 2 games already. You have Leipzig, who played against, I think it was Southampton today. I got the notifications. I watched a bit of that early on. So all of them already have their games, and we're still waiting to go to the USA. So
at least we have good. At least we have some good games, like against.
That's true.
City,
and if I was in
maybe,
America, I'd
again.
definitely go watch those. If I had more time, I'd probably go to America to watch those games because I haven't been in America yet. So that would have been something interesting, but not as of yet. Maybe the reason why we're waiting on Ronaldo, and I'm just saying because I can see Red Devil Studio in here. Maybe the reason the club is waiting on signing Ronaldo, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, is because, well, we're waiting until the America tour is over. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, Red Devil Studio, how are you doing? Absolutely agree with that. Vice versa as well, of course. But yeah, we're kind of nearing the end. I mean, that's a very important point. Is anyone here watching the women's Euros at the moment?
Nope.
I am watching the German games, but not today because it's an unimportant game, actually.
Fair enough.
I've
watched a few games just because when I go home, they built like a park in Manchester, like directly in the city centre. So when I get off my bus, there's like a football viewing park for the women's Euros. Yeah. So I often just stay there, watch like a few games, and then have a few drinks, and then go home. So that's very enjoyable. Actually, got me very interested in women's Euros. Actually, but yeah, we're ending it off the way we always end off with, well, our lineups for the upcoming season. Now, of course, this one has two things. One, we know Gnabry is staying, and two, we know Lewandowski is leaving. So, how do we think we're going to line up next season? Now, let's go with the fact what Nagels was saying earlier, and that we're going to play a 3-5-2 according to Nagelsmann. So, let's just pretend we are definitely playing a 3-5-2 next season, like Nagelsmann sort of insinuated today. What do we think the lineup is going to be next season?
I got mine if I can go.
Go for it, yes. Finally, someone that has a lineup.
Yeah. Because I thought about this all day. So I think it's going to be Neuer. Back three is going to be... Okay, it's going to be Lucas, De Ligt, and I think it's going to be Upamecano, but I would do Nianzou instead of Upamecano. But okay. I think we'll do Lucas, De Ligt, Upamecano. I think the wingbacks will be Davies and Coman. I think the midfield is going to be Kimmich Goretzka, but I would do Kimmich Musiala. Muller's always going to be that behind the strikers. And then up front, Mane, Gnabry.
I have the same exact lineup. Yeah. Like, exact the same. And I'm telling you, it's the one we are also doing the transfers for, right? We're getting the Ligt because we are looking for this three at the back central defender, right? We have Lucas on the left. We have Pava or Upamecano on the right. We are looking for their strong, let's say the leading central back. That's why signing De Ligt. We're getting rid of Lewandowski because we are actually wanting to go with a two-striker system. We have Mazraoui now, who could be playing if we need a more defensive lineup against stronger teams. Maybe, I don't even know. But I think Coman as a right wing back is actually also something which is quite possible because I can't see other positions for him. And I think he still have the edge over Mazraoui. And Davis will play on the left side. Yeah, it will be hard for Musiala. I think he has chances. Muller plays like shit, like he did in the second half season. The last 10 games or 15 games to play like shit. Musiala has a shot to start. He has to start because I think he's also someone. You know that Nagelsmann wants to implement this point system, right? With the point system on. How many points to score in training, and based on that, he will determine the starting formation. If that's actually true, Musiala has to start because he's training fantastic in every single training session. You can see that he's the best player there. And if that's true, Nagelsmann has to start him over the likes of Muller and other players. But let's see how much this point system works, and if someone like Muller has a starting 50 points handicap because his name is Thomas Muller, but I'm excited for that. But yeah, I have the same lineup.
Can I just confirm the lineup that you picked, just so I can actually put it? I mean, it doesn't look that great to be fair, but just so I can actually put it on here.
Yeah. We had the same lineup, so we can just go with the combined one. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think me and Nagels was Davies on the left. Coman right. Back. Who was your third center back?
Harry, did you say Coleman on the right?
Yeah.
Who
was your third center back?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I thought I think Pava and Upamecano will switch up, they will compete. Yeah, and I think Pava is the better choice with Coman on the right, honestly, because Pava can also go on the right back if Coman wants to play more like as a real winger and not as a wing back. I think that's where Pava is better than Upamecano. I think if it's Mazraoui who starts on the right, it's Upamecano is the better choice. But I don't know. I think it's fight between Upa and Pava. I have Pava, but I could also go with Upamecano. I don't really care.
I agree with what you said there. I think if Coman starts, Pavard's the third center back.
Yeah.
And then centrally think Ligt.
Yeah.
If he's current. Keyword if. Okay. Sorry, what was the midfield like?
Kimmich, Goretzka.
So like that then?
Yeah.
Okay. And what next?
Muller.
Yeah.
Interesting. Up front?
And Sane Gnabry.
Sane Gnabry.
Fuck off, Mane Gnabry.
Okay, interesting. So both you going with this formation, which I find very interesting, that Mazraoui is not the right wing back. I mean, I see a few people in the chat saying Stanisic right centre back, and Upamecano right wing back. I think you might have gotten that the wrong way around.
What is this guy smoking?
Go watch football.
Mazraoui on right wing back. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, but where does Coman play then?
Yeah, Coman has to start. He's gonna start.
Coman has to start. He has to play.
And Mazraoui, you can't just walk into the team out of nowhere. No.
He has to prove himself. He's a good right wing back for sure, and I think he will play. But it's I think Coman is the preferred player.
Because it's not like if you spend 80 million on Ligt, he starts. No shot. He's on the bench. But with Mazraoui, you get him on a free. He has to work his way in.
Okay, can I just say we spent 80 million on Lucas Hernandez too?
Yeah, and he starts.
He's starting. He's starting.
Just saying. Okay, so that's your team. That's both of your teams. I don't agree with this, obviously.
No, but please go with a realistic one. Don't put in Nianzou and go with someone which is really Nagelsmann could play at the end, because
I am always realistic. That's one thing you should know. I'm always realistic. Always.
I bet so. Go ahead.
Coman. Nope. That's
fair.
Oh, I'm gonna embarrass myself trying to spell his name now.
Aoui. Yeah.
You spell it right. Yeah.
Next up. You know what I'm doing, right?
You think that's what Nagelsmann would do? Okay. Oh, he's still.
Me and Nagels agreed with that. If Mazraoui's at right back, Upamecano is right center back.
So far,
so far we're correct.
Yeah. Here's where things get really interesting.
Vanner.
You know what?
It's a fair shot. It's a fair shot.
Yeah.
It's a fair shot.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
Next up.
Yeah, then you could obviously play Musiala. Yeah, also fair. You stick with them, right?
Am I?
I think Gnabry's gone. I think you're gonna put Muller.
Oh, you put in Muller.
As I said.
Yeah.
Am I?
But to be fair, though, this is it's a good lineup. And what I also like about it, it's Gnabry can still come in for Muller if he plays like shit, right? Can still be a good striking option for us. Or going with the inverted lineup. Okay.
Nah, we're not. I'm just messing around now. Have them as a winger.
I like this lineup, and I also think it's a realistic one. Good job.
Yeah, I think it's realistic.
Well,
no
Goretzka. As I said before on different discussions, I like Goretzka a lot. And honestly, if he stays healthy, obviously I'd have him over Gravenberg. But for me, just with his injury problems, I can't rely on him. I just like if I'm building my team for the season, this is how I'm building it essentially. Obviously, as I said, this was just a joke, but this is how I'm building my team for this season, because I can't rely on a player being available 40% of the time. And yes, when they're available for that 40%, they are amazing. But I just can't rely on that, if I'm building a team. So that's why, for me, his recent injury problems are a massive concern for me. Whereas with Gravenberg, I think if we introduce him very slowly at the beginning of the season, once Goretzka gets injured, I think he's going to be he will have enough game time to where he can then comfortably step into actually like playing week in, week out. Now, of course, we haven't talked about one player at all, and that's Sabitzer.
No, you have to explain where would Coman play if you get like substituted in.
If Coman comes on, he either gets substituted for Musiala or Mazraoui. I think what we can do very easily as well, just for argument's sake, it depends on who we obviously play and how we're gonna have to contain counters and how we're gonna have to maneuver against counters. What I think we can do very easily as well is, instead of playing, I mean, we kind of did that last season, but I think more so this season. What we can do is have a more defensively minded fullback. And just play an asymmetrical system. So in this case, you could have, your likes of Gnabry, your likes of Sane, your likes of Coman be offensive, whereas you have a more defensively minded. Now, of course, the argument would be that, you have a more offensively minded more offensively minded what am I saying? The argument, of course, is that instead of, because Davis is so offensively minded, you play him, and then you have a more defensively minded right wing back, in this case, Mazraoui. That's kind of what I think we're going to do. We're going to have a very much asymmetrical system. Like, it's not going to be as symmetrical as it has been, with a typical 4-2-3-1, where your fullbacks are at the same line, your wingers are at the same line. I think Nagelsmann, what we've seen from him at Leipzig is that he likes to play very narrow. We saw that he absolutely adores having a very narrow play, just so that you can transition the ball a lot quicker. But obviously you have to work around tight spaces. And I think a 3-5-2 would help us a lot, because we've got the pace, we've got the trickery, especially with Musiala here. We've got the trickery to play. You can dribble past one player, can get a little space, and then pass it on to the two forward attacking options in Mane and Muller. And I just think overall, I think there's a lot of good that can be done with an asymmetrical system.
The asymmetrical system, I liked it when we played it in first half of the season. It was a good idea from Nagelsmann.
I would, however, switch it more like this, like that. Yeah, that's sort of how the players would look like in a real world scenario. I guess you could say, like, Upamecano is not as far wide as Lucas, for example, is. And then you've got Lucas who can push up a little bit, and you can Gravenberg, you can drop deeper a little bit. I know that's not exactly his strengths, being defensively minded, but he is very good on both ends of the field. And I think with that, you've got Kimmich, who can go into the wide spaces with Mazraoui going more here. And I said, Musiala is able to create space, and Davis himself is able to create space. So you don't really need a someone that can beat the attack. So someone that can beat like the attack on the left, because you've got Davis, one, his trickery, his skills, his dribbling, and also two, his speed. So you can get past this man very quickly, and then get the ball either to Mane, Muller, Musiala, or Gravenberg, who can obviously come forward as well. So that's kind of how I'm envisioning us playing next season.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this could all be, this could all be completely wrong. But that's how I would envision us playing next season.
Where would you rate this lineup among top Europe teams?
I mean, I think our lineup is the same as I thought of our lineup last season. I think it's probably the best in all of Europe. I think the only two teams that are realistically a opponent when it comes to at lineups, not saying in terms of like play style, in terms of team, but in terms of just the lineups, I think the only two teams that really pose a threat are Liverpool and City. Those are the only two teams where I'm like, yeah, they've got lineups on a similar, if not better level. But like in general, I think we have like top three line, first 11, and top three squad in all of world football. I think number one squad by far goes to City.
Yeah.
But in terms of like first 11s, I think you can pick anyone between us, City, and Liverpool.
Wait. Could you please? I think there's one team which has a great lineup if they would play with the right manager. I think Paris also has a good lineup. Like they would also be playing with the 3-5-2. I think the manager said they would be playing with this lineup. I think they have good wing backs. They have a great they have Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi up front, and they will be getting, I think, this one guy from Inter Milan, which is really weird name. Skriniar. And Marquinhos.
Well, the rumors they've been going on for like a month and a half now, and they still have made no progress. So I wouldn't count your chickens with that one. Today they did actually, while we were recording, they did actually sign Hugo Etiquette, who is a good player. But again, their issues aren't offensively. So, and I don't know why they got Galtier in the first place, because it makes no sense getting him, but they got him as a manager. So
why doesn't it make sense?
He's a very pragmatic coach. So I don't think that's going to work with a free-flowing team like PSG. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you'd want someone that is, very tactically flexible with a team like PSG that are so tactically flexible. That have players that rotate, that, play all over the place all the time. And I do think it just makes sense getting Galtier for that. But we'll see. I could be wrong with this one, but I just don't see that working out that well, if I'm being completely honest. Tubbs mentions Madrid. I don't see Madrid having that good of a squad. I think what like that good of a team rather. What makes them stand out really is their mentality. They've got the best mentality in world football. But in terms of actual starting 11 or squad or whatnot, I don't think they're that great. They just wear that white shirt, and that white shirt has such a huge weight behind it that their mentality is incomparable, absolutely incomparable. But yeah, those were our lineups. That was our discussion. As I said, we might be back next week with a discussion on the Ligt. Hopefully, once that is wrapped up. I do appreciate everyone for joining us today. Be sure to, of course, rate the video, the stream discussion, whatever. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more of these in the future. But with that said, Lewandowski officially leaving the end of an era, and yet somehow it feels like the good times are just around the corner with Gnabry just extending. It's an odd one, isn't it? But yeah, Nagels, unless you have anything else to say, please add it. No. And if not, okay, you don't have anything else to say. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I will see all of you in the next one. Everyone, I do appreciate all of you joining us, and even if you're watching this later on YouTube, I hope I could join these discussions higher. Well, in future, if you do want to join, these are open to everyone. Everyone can join. Anyone can join. All you have to do is literally just send me a direct message on Twitter, just so that way I can see it and send you the link. So if in future you're ever interested in joining, let me know. These are open to everyone, as long as you don't have to share the same opinions. You don't have to share the same thoughts as me. I think I probably have the most diverse thoughts out of anyone here, as we were saying earlier. But as long as you are respectful to everyone's opinions, then you're always welcome, and I'm always happy for you to join as well. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out. And as always, bye.
Bye.